All right, guys. So we have a pretty disturbing story out of Las Vegas in regards to what, to me, what should be classified as child abuse going on in the classroom. As a substitute teacher, allegedly taped a mask to a student's face because the student wasn't wearing it properly. Now, the mother of this poor child, right? This is elementary school boy, 9 years old, obviously was super upset about this, right? Matter of fact, she is demanding that the substitute teacher be fired for her actions. Take a look.
The mom of a local 9-year-old boy is demanding his substitute teacher be fired after she says that a teacher taped a face mask to her son's face when he did not wear it properly in the classroom. She spoke to us under the condition that we not use her name or show her face, worried her son could be further traumatized at school, but wanting other parents to know what is happening in one fourth grade classroom.
I was furious. I was scared for my son on what kind of long-term effect it's going to have on him socially. The fact that the entire class was laughing.
This mom of a fourth grade student at Reedom Elementary in Mountain's Edge says his substitute teacher stepped way over the line when the 9-year-old failed to properly wear his mask in class.
He went to get a sip of water, forgot to put the mask on. Teacher then did not tell him to put it back on or send him to the office. She instead pulled him up in the front of the classroom in front of all of the students, and she then taped the mask across the top of his face.
The mom says the sub added a second layer of tape from his nose to his forehead, and with tape still on his face, he went to the office to pick up homework he'd forgotten at home and his dad dropped off.
When he went to the office to pick up that homework is when one of the administrators noticed the tape on his face.
Alarmed, that administrator took the tape off of the child and alerted the principal, who went to the classroom to investigate, filling out this report.
And she saw another student who she thought was my son with tape on their face as well.
This mom later asked her son had other students also had their masks taped to their face. He said yes. It's been happening in his classroom since the beginning of the school year.
He says that he remembers up to 5.
This mom says it is not a political issue. She has no problem with the mask mandate, but says 9-year-olds like her son are often forgetful and should never be punished, purposefully embarrassed in this way.
He was very upset. He was crying. He was humiliated.
Fox 5 questioned the school district about this incident. They responded, quote, "The district is aware of the isolated incident and is dealing with the employee through the proper channels. The principal proactively notified the family of the investigation." But that's not good enough for this mom.
I don't think this woman has any business teaching children, for one. Number 2, I think parents need to know what's going on in the classrooms. It's crazy. Corporal punishment in schools should not be happening.
And the mom also filed a police report about the teacher putting her hands on the student. She's also now looking at changing schools or possibly moving to a charter school.
All right, guys. So before I get into my commentary here, again, a disclaimer. I do this every single time I'm talking about the virus, the pandemic, masks, vaccines, whatever. I am not making any claims about the virus, the pandemic, mask, vaccines. I'm not making any claims whatsoever. If you have any questions about the pandemic, the mask, the virus, vaccines, please consult your medical professional. Okay, consult your doctor. This is purely about public policy only. But yes, this to me, guys, sounds like textbook child abuse, right? Can you imagine, right? A 9-year-old elementary school boy. You already have enough stress of having to go to school, right? And then also having to go to school, doing this whole COVID thing, doing a pandemic, having to go through wearing a mask. Like, I can imagine for a 9-year-old, it's probably pretty difficult for them to, wear the mask properly, because a lot of people, again, they say to wear the mask properly, it has to be worn over the nose, right? So for, a 9-year-old, that may be something that's uncomfortable. It could be something that they're not necessarily used to doing. So there could be a tendency for them to play with it, for them to pull it down, for them to wear it improperly. Again, they are just 9 years old, right? Kids play with all types of stuff, okay? They play with all types of stuff. And they are also very, very, very forgetful, right? So a lot of kids probably just even forgetting to, pull the mask up over their nose or even put it on. So this child, right, according to the story, this boy, he went to the water fountain to get some water. And apparently he did not put the mask back over his face properly after he got water. And then that's when the teacher took it upon herself to take matters in her own hands and say, you know what? Because this child, right, this little 9-year-old can't wear the mask properly, I'm going to duct tape it to his face. Okay? Now, again, remember, kids are forgetful. Okay? And this kid said that, hey, he forgot to put the mask back on properly after he went and got a sip of water, right? So he just forgot. So instead of the teacher just, reminding him, okay, of, hey, you know what, you might want to put the mask back on, or, put it over your nose or whatever, right? She decides that she wants to embarrass the kid by essentially calling him up to the front of class and putting duct tape on his face to keep the mask on, literally in front of all these other kids. Now, guys, can you imagine how traumatizing of experience that must have been? To duct tape a child's face in front of everybody in class. Can you imagine how those other students probably were looking at that boy and the things they probably were saying, right? The things that bullies were saying, okay? They were probably laughing at him. That student probably felt humiliated and traumatized over that, okay? That to me seems like a pretty horrible experience to go through, to have to sit in class with duct tape over your face, right? A 9-year-old. I mean, again, it's ridiculous. There's a point where it's like, okay, yes, people want to, again, have public health policies that make sense. But there's a difference between having that and just flat out child abuse, right? And humiliation. Well, again, you saw the parent was like, look, I don't really necessarily have that big of an issue with the mandates. It's just the fact that this teacher took it upon themselves to put duct tape over my child's face, right? And again, the reason why they found out is because this child went to the office with duct tape over his face to try to pick up some homework. And I think that the principal saw that, and then that's when they went and investigated. And lo and behold, this is not the first time you've had children in that classroom have duct tape over their face because they were wearing a mask improperly, allegedly. Okay, allegedly. So again, you have these activist teachers in class who are taking upon themselves to do things like this that really constitute child abuse, in my opinion, in the name of public safety and health. That, again, really to me, again, is just one of those reasons why we need cameras in the classroom, right? People on the left try to make it seem like, oh, it's not an issue, blah, blah, blah. Like, why does it matter? What? No, it actually does matter. The reason why it matters is because you have teachers that are too empowered to do things like this, right? We've seen it too much. We have teachers out here that are putting their political opinions on students. They're not just doing that. Again, they're getting to the point now where they're duct taping children's face in order for them to wear the mask properly, right? That's what they're doing. So, I mean, again, these people who were so gun-ho about police wearing body cameras, again, I mean, why not have it on teachers? Why not have it on teachers? So that we can monitor this type of behavior in the classroom, because obviously, to me, it seems like this is what's going on. This was happening, right? And, this parent, is demanding that teacher be fired, and rightfully so. I mean, the school says, well, we're going to conduct an investigation and use the proper channels. I'm like, bruh, I don't know what it is to investigate, right? This is something where that person should be gone immediately, right? That person should be gone immediately. This is not acceptable. But you guys know some of these schools and their administrations, they're cool with this type of stuff, right? A lot of these schools, you see, they don't do anything until the parents actually backlash, right? That's how you had a Antifa teacher be in a classroom with, again, other teachers who apparently agree with his ideology and are just openly teaching this stuff. And for whatever reason, it was never a big deal and nobody ever addressed it until it got exposed on social media. Because a lot of these schools and administration, they actually agree with this stuff. They're cool with it. So yeah, that's why it's important that, one, parents, take a stand, and then two, on top of that, like this parent said, listen, think about moving children to a charter school, right? Or a private school, or a school where, parents are gonna have a little bit more leeway, and that you're not gonna have to deal with this type of abuse, because that's what it is. Again, it's one thing to want to follow certain public health mandates, whether you agree with them or you don't, right, for the sake of public health. That's one thing. But it's another thing to take it upon yourself to start abusing children in the name of public health. And again, that's really what my issue is here. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.